Brunswick Communications Operator Smith.
Hey, I live out still shores.
Okay.
There's break-ins out here. There's a guy in the house right now. It's a house under construction.
Okay, do you have your address or that house's address?
Right at 219 or 220 Satilla Drive.
And you said someone's breaking into it right now?
No, it's all open. It's under construction. And he's running right now. There he goes right now.
Okay, what is he doing?
He's running down the street. Call for
Okay.
Back into the...
Okay, that's fine. I'll get them out there. I just need to know what he was doing wrong. Was he just on the premises and not supposed to be?
Stuff on it. And he's been caught on the camera a bunch before at night. Kind of an ongoing thing out here. The man that's building the house has got heart issues. I think he's not going to finish it. So.
Okay, that's fine. And you said it was a male in a black t-shirt?
A white t-shirt. Black guy, white t-shirt.
All right, so there's one of the 911 calls that was made prior to the shooting. And a couple things you want to notice about that. One is saying that he's at some under construction home. Not exactly clear what he was doing. Not clear if he's cutting through or if he's standing there. If he's in there, that description doesn't come through. But what does come through very clearly is that he believes this is someone that's been caught on camera before in a bunch of burglaries and break-ins in the neighborhood, okay? So, Court TV did our own investigation to take a look at those. Let's bring back in everyone. And Chanley, I know we had an opportunity to go through and dig into some of these burglary reports. What did you find out?
Well, Court TV specifically requested all incident reports between November 1st, 2019 and May 5th, 2020 involving home robbery, home burglary, and thefts that occurred on the following streets: Buford Road, Holmes Road, Satilla Drive, and Zellwood Drive, to see if what we hear in that 911 call checks out. Well, of what we were given, only 2 incidents were in between that time period for those streets. And Vinny, both involve 34-year-old Travis McMichael, who was just arrested last night for the felony murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Now, the first was on January 1st, 2020. This was a Glenn County PD report that we were given. It's Travis McMichael. He calls in to police around 11:05 a.m. that morning, and he calls in reference to an entering auto or theft of an auto. It's his 2011 Ford F-150, not the white one we see in the viral video now, but this is a red one. And he calls into the police that someone entered into his locked 2011 Ford F-150 and took his Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol. Now, the report goes on to the narrative. The police check it out. He says that his father, about a couple hours earlier, went into his truck, left it unlocked, and when he returned, he just finds the holster with his handgun gone. The report later goes on to say latent fingerprints yielded negative results for that incident. So that's the first incident that we were given, Vinny. And then, moving forward, February 11th, 2020, we have another incident, and again, involves Travis McMichael. So if we take a look at this report, we have February 11th, this is around 7:30 at night. Travis McMichael calls 911. He calls in for trespassing on Larry English's property. That's 220 Satilla Drive. That's the property under construction referred to in the Ahmaud Arbery 911 call. Now, this is in reference to, quote, an unknown black male trespassing within the construction site of a new home being built on said property. Now, this is the important part here of this report, Vinny. It's the description of the suspect responsible. It's, quote, a lighter-skinned black male, slender build, approximately 5 feet to 6 feet tall. Both arms look to be covered in tattoos. The male has 3 to 4 inch twist or dreads hairstyle. So the property owner in this police report says that there are security cameras that show the male inside this construction site, and that the male appeared to be the same unknown male in all the previous incidents caught on camera there at that property. The male was, quote, only trespassing and plundering around, as he has yet to see where anything has been taken in the security cameras. And then finally, the videos and the description of this unknown male has been circulated throughout the neighborhood. They have this neighborhood Facebook page, Vinny, where they post these security camera stills, the description of this man who's been trespassing, and it's been circulated. So all the neighbors who are a part of that Facebook page have seen this description. And again, those are the only 2 incident reports in that time period that we received before what happened to Ahmaud Arbery.
All right, Julie Grant, lighter skinned, slender, tattoos, 3 to 4 inch twisted dreads. Okay, so it's clear that Travis McMichael thinks that there's someone who's doing something at this construction site. He doesn't know who did anything to his car, but it looks like he's kind of putting those 2 things together, conflating them to a certain extent, perhaps. What do you take from that description and Ahmaud Arbery?
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like Ahmaud Arbery to me, and I'm sure you all thought the same thing when you were listening to that description. All of the photographs I've seen of him, he has short hair. It's a very short haircut, and he also has facial hair in a lot of the photos. He's also a darker skinned man, and so this really doesn't sound like him at all. I'm unaware of any tattoos. All the photos I've seen, I don't see any tattoos on his arms, and there you go, the facial hair, the goatee. See him with that in just about all the pictures. Very short hair, no dreads in his hair. You know, to me, that description doesn't sound anything like him. But I'll tell you what Chandler's report there does sound like to me, Vinny, and that sounds to me like there was some intent here brewing and some planning perhaps going on. If I'm the prosecutor and I'm driving the train at this grand jury, when they convene and get to receive all this evidence, they need to go back just like Court TV did and pull those reports and see what was going on, because clearly this was planned. This event, if you take nothing else away from this, you know, this was not spontaneous, that truck was parked in the middle of the road, albeit illegally too, by the way, in the middle of that road, and Ahmaud Arbery is doing nothing wrong. He's jogging. That's healthy. That's doing something right, going out and getting some exercise. But what happened certainly seemed like a trap to me, Vinny.
You know, Ted, as I'm listening to this, there are so many parallels to the way the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin confrontation began. George Zimmerman knew there were some burglaries in the neighborhood, and he sees Trayvon Martin standing in Frank Taffy's yard, and he was underneath a little bit of an awning because it was raining, but he found that suspicious, and it seems the same thing's going on here. They had a burglary of a vehicle. They had seen someone walking around the construction site, and now on this particular day, Ahmaud Arbery is near that construction site, and there they go. In their minds, they're putting 2 and 2 together and saying, we got to stop this person. We're going to stop him now.
Yeah, and, you know, Travis McMichael is the same guy who is reporting both of those other alleged incidents. He is knee deep into this, right? So they've alerted the whole neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is looking for everybody now. You've seen the photos, but Travis is really into it. And so, you know, Dad, we got him. You know, look, there's a black person. I mean, this screams of idiocy, racism, and vigilantism. And it's illegal. You can't hunt a human being down no matter what you think. You call the police. If you think that that's the guy that maybe stole your gun out of your car, well, guess what you do? You call the police. You don't jump in your pickup truck with Dad, load him up, and chase him down. And who knows what the other individual's role was in all of this coordinated event. But it's disgusting, and it's going to come out. And I don't care where you get this jury from, the jury pool, if they hear all of the evidence, and this is part of it, they'll be disgusted. And they will come back with a guilty verdict, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, and you know, there's going to be a legal battle to see if any of this information that we're digging up ends up being part of the the trial in front of the jury. There's going to be arguments back and forth.
Think about if they thought that there was a white man that had been stealing and had been out there, they would have called the police on him. Right? You just think that. That's what I believe. You think
they did call 911 though, Ted. There's a 911 call. There's a 911 call for sure.
Yeah,
I mean that's how we're hearing.
Maybe it was just it's vigilantism at its core, and it's just absolutely illegal and inappropriate and horrible. And it, like Julie said, this has been brewing. It had been brewing. They were whipped into a frenzy.
And it's the same exact thing as George Zimmerman, because George Zimmerman, the last time he called police, the person got away. So this time they were not going to get away.
Right.
And it was obviously was the wrong guy, because the guy George Zimmerman was trying to track down actually was in jail on other charges at the time. Julie, Chanley, do we know anything about tattoos? I haven't seen photos of Ahmaud, so I don't know if he has tattoos on his arm or not. But it's one of these facts that they very specifically reported prior. Can we drop those the graphics and we can take a look?
Yeah, let's look at these photos. Maybe a couple of tattoos on there. It's hard to tell in the pictures that we have, but according to this police report,
I think this picture coming up. 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. I think it's the next picture in the loop. This one. I may see a tattoo.
But yeah, I do see a tattoo, but I don't see a sleeve. It sounds as though this police report's referring more towards his arms covered with tattoos and dreads. Remember, 3 to 4 inch twist or dreads. And so we'll just have to